It's the Talking Chit podcast, man. It's Tone. What's good? And my dear, what's going on with you today? Pronounce that name for me.
Anna Shanae.
Say it one more time.
Anna Shanae.
Anna Shanae.
Yes.
I'm saying it right. Anna Shanae.
You're saying it right.
Yeah. And we here for an interesting topic, man. Anna Shanae, how's the dating life for you? If there is a dating life.
You know what? That's not a fair question. That's not a fair question. Honestly, I am single. I have been single for over 2 years now. And it's not a very big pool, to be honest with you. Because I've elevated and I've matured a lot spiritually. So I'm looking for something different. And unfortunately, I just haven't seen and felt a lot of guys who meet the criteria. Like, I'm not super picky, but I know my value and I know my worth. So
Okay.
I'm not settling. So
Okay.
I guess you could say my love life is fine. I'm just not dating right now.
Got you. So all right. So listen, the interesting topic, you know what I mean? I'm pulling from a writer, a professor who
Mhm.
has written these reports, books, talking about maybe you should consider dating outside of your race. That's gonna
Here
be
we
the
go.
topic. It's gonna be the topic today.
Okay.
Let me just say, you say the pool is not good, right? In your area.
No, no, it's not.
What are some of the drawbacks?
Um, I have children. I'm a single parent. I have 2 daughters. So I try not to be like biased against men who have children. But
Mhm.
if you have more than 3, I'm looking at that as a potential red flag. I'm gonna
Okay.
just keep it real.
Okay.
Not only that, if you can't communicate well, like I like intellectual men. So you
Uh-oh.
have to be able to stimulate me mentally. And if you can't do that, what are we doing here?
Got you.
Um, so those are 2 that I would definitely are top tier for me. Like I can't. I'm sorry.
It's all
I'm
good.
sorry, not sorry. I'm sorry, not sorry.
We got our picks. We got our picks. But let
Mhm.
me say this though. Like, I'm not here to be who's the popular guy out there, Kevin Samuels. I'm not here to
Oh my,
I'm not here to slander Kevin Samuels, and this is not a Kevin Samuels session. So we might get some laughs, but it's not gonna be at your expense in regards to belittling you and being demeaning in regards to our dating preferences. But
mhm.
it's crazy because like how do you feel about African American males dating outside of their race?
Can I be honest?
Go
Can I
for it.
to be okay, listen. So first of all, let me plug myself. I do have a YouTube channel called To Be Honest 2.0. Check me out.
Yep.
And I talk about a lot of different things, and this happens to be one of them. Um, I'm kind of torn, to be real with you, because on one hand, it's like here we are with a shortage of good men, melanated men,
Mhm.
and you have the audacity to run over to Karen like we don't need our strong warrior men for us. Like it used to make my blood boil. And I
Mhm.
just couldn't grasp like how could you feel okay with it, knowing the history? You know what I mean? You know the the whole lineage, like how we've suffered, our ancestors have been victims to their ancestors. So how can you feel okay with that? And then, you know what? Here's the most common thing that I've seen is like when melanated men get to a position of power, they get a little bit of money, then they want to just forget about the women who were there for them. You know, that was the backbone for them that helped them when they didn't even believe in themselves. They forget about us and they go get Betty, they go get Susan. You see what I mean? So that
Hey,
is so infuriating.
listen,
I can't.
honest, hey, hey, Becky thick these days.
You know, that's another Becky getting them Pilates in. You feel me?
Hey,
She eating a
hey,
little bit of cornbread.
hey,
You know
Becky,
what I'm saying? She doing
Heather,
her thizzle.
Heather,
I'm not
they have
mad at them.
hips. Yeah,
They do. You know what I mean? They even getting them injections, the collagen injections, trying
collagen.
to look
Yep.
like we look like naturally. You see what I'm saying? So why
Mhm.
would you go and get an imitation when you can have the real thing? You feel what I'm saying? You have authentic, natural curves, thickness, and beauty. We ain't got to work hard at it, honestly. Most of us, if you're taking care of yourself properly.
Okay.
But for the ones who aren't, that's not even impossible for them to look like this said thick Becky. If they put in a little bit of energy and effort because they have the support of their king, who knows what they could really look like and what their full potential really looks like. You feel what I'm saying? So it
Okay.
is what you give value to, and they not giving value to us. They want to venture over and explore something different. And here's my thing.
Hey, I want my baby to have good hair.
Um, so you think, okay. So that's a program. Okay. That is a conditioning of the mind where we've been taught by society to think that our melanation, our beautiful coily hair is not beautiful. And in fact, it is. It's so unique that not everybody has it. There, people, our hair grows towards the sun. Name one other nationality that has that physical attribute. I'll wait. Okay, so there aren't any. So that makes you so unique and one of a kind. So your children will and can have beautiful hair. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, what is beauty to you? Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So if you think less, then hey, that's what it is. But
Right.
like I said, to each their own. I ain't necessarily just like down in nobody, but yeah, I had a problem with it for a while. I
Mm.
did. It,
That's
it yeah.
This is a little bit of battle of the sexes today, guys, on this podcast slightly. We're gonna try to keep it informative, but we also gonna keep it light at the same time. So I do value your opinion, and my interjection with some humor at the end of the day is just basically to keep it lively. So I don't want people to take it out of context with anything that either one of us has say, because it's our opinion and it's just shared
Yeah.
at the end of the day. So like us, love us, share us. If you don't care, just keep it mum, because ain't nobody battle on the internet. But
Okay.
but no, the big thing is this though, right? So there was an article written recently, or at least put into circulation by the New York Post,
Mhm.
and why Black women should consider dating white men. Hmm.
Do, 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 do. With them, what's in it for me? Like, my guy, I have to be real with you. Like, what is it really doing for me? And what are your motives? Like, I
Wait,
can't, okay.
wait, time out. Kamala has a white husband. New justice, newly confirmed justice, Ketanji Brown Jackson has a white husband.
I'm sorry.
Do I
Are
gotta
these
keep
women,
going?
are
Do I
these
gotta keep
women
going?
melanated? Are they okay? So all of the women that you named, there's some type of big political figure. So this works well for their image.
Wait,
I mean, if we gonna keep it all the way,
wait, wait.
okay,
Spielberg married to a Black woman.
same thing.
Not
It
Spielberg.
works for them.
Yeah, I think it's Spielberg. Um, Robert De Niro was married to a Black woman.
Mhm. Now, listen, I'm not saying that everybody doesn't marry for love when we're looking at an interracial relationship, but I'm saying it'd be kind of convenient, you know what I mean? Because now you're tapping into a whole new, I'm going to say a whole new group of people that you otherwise wouldn't have access to. Because
Okay.
think about it, this demographic of melanated beings will now
Mm.
potentially look at you and vote for you. Oh, he got a Black wife.
Mm.
I'm gonna vote for him. Oh,
Mm.
there's that movie director who makes movies, but his wife is melanated, so I'm gonna go watch his movie. I'm gonna go support him. So it's very convenient because financially you're benefiting from it, you're
Mhm.
profiting from them, and then the status as well. So it's like you're a good fit, okay, if you will.
Mhm.
Now, how long ago? Now I know that it's like a slippery slope with this particular
Yeah,
topic because
yeah,
not long
yeah.
ago, this was not a popular thing. Like you couldn't see it, you couldn't hear it because there's too much racism, you're getting death threats and all this type of stuff. So
You a
you
jigger
didn't really
lover?
see that.
You a jigger lover? Oh, I'm changing. I'm changing the N to the J.
I
But
got you. I
you know,
got
people
you.
know
So
that
that was the thing.
that was one of the claims. You're a jigger lover.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe it's because society is quote unquote evolving, being more open and receptive to interracial relationships, that maybe, it's just they're making people more comfortable with the idea, with the concept of it. I don't know. But like I said, I'm kind of torn because on one end, I'm like, I don't like it, it ain't right.
All
Why we
right.
mix? Do you see cows mixing with lions? Do you see hippopotamus mixing with elephants? You don't see that, my guy. Look at the animal kingdom. They're a clear example. So why are we playing around with the genome? Why are we doing that? I'm just
But I
asking.
I do see brown and white spots on the cow. I see in their coat and their skin. But listen. I would say this, right. So let's talk about the dating situation.
Yeah.
Black men, I hang my head in shame.
Don't do that. Don't be like that.
I do, because it's saying that, for the brothers, it's saying that women are 50%, Black women are 50% more likely to be graduates. Make sure they have an education, albeit high school to college level. So you're saying initially that you like an intellectual person.
Right.
So a person isn't, if you have a large pool or a large population, or half of the population isn't even making it to the starting point to get to the
Mhm.
finish line of, general education to post-secondary education,
Mhm.
that's the thing. Where does that hurt us in our community with Black men not having enough education behind them, and when it comes down to dating, is it just the money, or is it more so knowing how to deal with you and speak to you in a better manner?
It's all encompassing, honestly, because it all trickles down at the end of the day. So
You know
it's
I'm
like,
in the league, right? Sorry, because I'm in the league. You know what I'm saying, bro? And my contract, though, my contract, like, I just signed 100 million contract, and you know, all that got Bentleys out here, and we can take anywhere you want to go. So you trying to tell me I ain't good enough for you? I dropped out, but I still made it to the league though. You froze up. You froze up. Please come back. Please come back. Your Wi-Fi tripping. Yeah, you Black in the building. You know what I'm
I
saying?
am,
You
I
Black
am.
in the building. But yeah, I guess we getting too strong, so they knocked us
Hmm.
off.
Yes.
But like
Okay.
I say, I'm a baller though, shot caller. You ain't trying to mess with me. I'm trapper of the year.
Okay. Let me say this. Let me clarify. When I say intellect, that doesn't necessarily mean like your educational level, because there are rich dummies and there are not well off uh intelligent men. You see what I'm saying? So don't get it twisted. And again, we're being indoctrinated with westernized education. So
Mhm.
first of all, that it's not even by those standards. See, when you're dealing with a woman that knows herself, when you're dealing with a goddess, she doesn't measure you based on those type of standards. It's based on her own internal. You see what I'm saying? Her own. And if
Okay.
it matches, if it's a good fit, it's a good yoke, like we good. But if we not equally yoked, what are we doing here? So
Mm,
I just want to be very clear on that. It's not about materialism. Not for me. I can't speak for every woman, but for me, it's not even about that. Because I tell you, I've always been the breadwinner in every relationship I've ever been in.
okay.
Always. And I don't know if that has something to do with the fact that it wasn't successful because maybe they were intimidated or threatened or, didn't feel like their opinion or their voice mattered. But I never treated them less than a man, because I'm gonna respect you first and foremost because you are the head of the household and king of my life. So therefore, you gonna get respect regardless. Money is nothing but a tool that we utilize. So that has no value compared to, my man. So That's just what that is.
So even though you're the breadwinner, right?
Mhm.
And most of your situations in the past, do you still feel that he is head of the household, even though you outpace him financially?
I do. I do, because he brings other things to the table that money could never. Because everybody thinks like if I get in a certain tax bracket, oh, I'm gonna be happy, my life gonna be great. But when you lonely in your mansion,
Hey,
I ain't
Rich,
talking about gold diggers. We're not
now
talking
let-
about gold diggers here.
I'll say this: how many rich people don't commit suicide?
Exactly. You see what I'm saying? So that lets you know money is not the end all be all. It don't buy you happiness.
Right.
So, and what did Puff Daddy say? More money, more problems. Yeah, that part. So they
All,
need to really get into
all the time. All the time. But yeah, it's a thing. So like I read the article. I don't know if you had a chance to read the article. I'm gonna actually go back and read the book just as I'm a book reader. Not that it's gonna necessarily be informative to me, but it just is it's interesting because I would say now more women with degrees, more specifically, are saying, you know what, I don't have to be held hostage anymore. I don't have to. I don't have to stay in my race as far as Black women to feel just anymore. I don't have to date down anymore because I'm dating down because if the person is like you said, part and this is the exterior portion. It's not the internal. It's not the intellectual. It's metaphysics and nothing like that. It's that. It's what's on paper, as they say, them paper champs.
yeah.
Do they check off with this? Do they check off with that? Do they have a degree? Do they have a car? Do they have a job? Do they have certain assets? Things of that nature. But we also are tricked, like you said, because we've been indoctrinated. Now understanding that a lot of things that we consider assets are really liabilities for the most
Mhm.
part. You know what I mean? So you got $1 million house, all right, you got $1 million worth of debt. Is it an asset or is it a liability? You know, you have
Right.
to calculate that. You got a $100,000 car. So what is it? Asset or liability if it isn't paid off? And then what is the true value thereafter? So, saying that to say, it's a struggle, but it seems as though the Black woman since 1980 has started to step out more, and they're straddling, they're jumping the racial line when it comes to trying to find happiness in their heart. At this point, they went from 3% to 12% since 1980, and the Paul study that showed that more Black women are saying, I don't care what you think, I just want to be happy.
Yeah. I mean, okay, let me speak for women in general.
Okay.
Because for the longest, we've not really had a voice. I'm all about women empowerment. I really am a supporter of women of any nationality.
Mm-hmm.
And our happiness is our utmost importance. Our peace is, you know what I mean? So living the lifestyle that we deserve. And I don't think you need to settle for anything less than the best. And that I don't care who that is, like with. So if that is a Chinese man, if that's an African man, if that's a Hispanic, whatever that looks like for you, this is where I am now since I have matured.
Right.
And I'm looking at it from I'm gonna say a macro perspective.
I like
Um,
that. I like that.
and it's kind of like we deserve to seek whatever brings us that fulfillment. And if that man can't fulfill you, regardless of what his pockets looks like, his intellect, his friends, his connections, then we are not going to partake in it. So this is really going above that glass ceiling when it comes to expectations. It's more than just I'm dating this man or I decided to marry him because of what he has to bring to the table, but it's more so about what he makes me feel like.
Mhm.
Does he make me feel like a queen? Does he make me feel like a goddess? Does he put me first and foremost before his family and his friends and his job, his career? Like those things matter. You know what I mean? It's not even about all of the old, I'm going to say the old ways of the paradigm. Like before we were given that check mark list. Like we were given a list. Does he do this? Does he do that? And you're pressured by your family and society to be married by 30. So you have people who literally get into relationships because of peer pressure, because of loneliness. I'm not lonely, baby. Although I am single, I'm very fulfilled. I'm very happy. I can still date even though I'm single. You see what I'm saying? So it's really whatever you make of it. Like life and love and relationships is what you make of it. So I guess like this is the new age thing. It's not even about interracial. I'm going to even stop using that term interracial because it's another label, and labels do nothing but separate. You know what I'm saying? Like it's another way to exclude people in some shape, form, or fashion. And I'm all about unity. I'm all about inclusiveness. With
Mhm.
women empowerment, you gotta be, you know what I'm saying? So therefore, the same thing comes to love and relationships. Let people love how they want to love, who they want to love, and you do the same. We
But
worry about people too
wait,
much.
but the stigma though, the stigma.
It is
Like
there.
like you said, you used to feel some type of
I
way,
did.
brothers in the arms of Becky, let me see, uh, Jennifer Lopez. I could really couldn't come up with a Latin name, and the A,
Um,
and I'm not gonna make up no crazy name, but why the backlash for the men and not the women? Because all of these, let's say all of these guys, speaking of De Niro, speaking of Spielberg, speaking of Doctor whomever who is Kaji husband, and the so on, the many Caucasian men, even David Bowie and Iman,
mhm.
that have elected to marry a black woman. It just, y'all ain't talking shit about them the way y'all be cutting at the man ankle like he ain't shit. He took it to a white girl, all this other crazy stuff like that has been, been spoken in the past. Why do you feel that there could be such a stigma of the men jumping the line versus the women? Because it's very subtle and quiet. I didn't even know, man. Just to say this last point, I didn't even know Robert De Niro was married to a, Canadian, woman of the African diaspora. Whew, there's so many labels we gotta put on today.
Yeah.
Crazy. But
Um, the stigma is there. Like I'm gonna be honest, it's there, but it has a lot to do with trauma. The trauma that is unresolved, I don't care what your sex is an issue. It's going to be an issue because it really shapes the way that you perceive life in general. And that's the reason why I now have a new overview about this topic, because I've grown, I've learned, I've been working through traumas, childhood and adult life traumas, and even things that have come down through the lineage, through the ancestors, what we call um, generational curses, like all of that plays a part in your reality. So if you view yourself as a victim, you view yourself as like, um, how dare he, not value us? How dare he not appreciate us and go and do and be everything for this particular woman that he couldn't and wouldn't be for me? So that hurts. That cuts really deep down to the core of melanated women. And FYI, this is Black. My skin is nowhere near that. But anyways, I digress. I just wanted to point that out real quick. So it's like that particular issue, which is the unresolved traumas, is what causes people to view men different, like stepping out. And in actuality, it's all even. It really is no different. It's like it's the ultimate betrayal. Like if you think, and I don't know if this is getting a little too raunchy, but like if you think about the women who were molested by European men, and then you turn around and you give yourself, because we supposed to have a special shared connection and bond from jump. We're supposed to. So it's like, I can't perceive you now being able to be okay with giving it away and sharing it with the next. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's why men receive so much more backlash than women. And it's like, we're softer on women. We're a little bit more gentler with women, because we are creatures of and beings of emotion. And so because of that, we're a little bit more gentler with ourselves when we make our form our opinions, when we form our opinions and ideas about that. But like I said, I don't stick to that platform now. And the reason why I changed it so drastically is because I now know I'm only reacting because it's what was taught to me. That idea to hate was passed down to me generation to generation. We do not like white people. We don't like European people because they did this and the third. And I'm all for reparations.
Your
I've
next
just
15 years, and I've never wronged you in my life, and I'm
right.
Caucasian.
I get that. And so I'm saying, so you will have people arguing on both sides of the fence to that one statement. And it's like, well, your ancestors did, so y'all need to pay for what they did. You literally, we don't have like a level playing field, because the wealth and the assets that we could have had for our family, it was stripped from us. So that, I mean, it's deep seated. It is really deep seated hatred and programming. And we have to learn to reprogram our minds. We have to learn to be individuals and think freely. Yeah, it happened. I ain't
But
saying forget about it, but I am saying don't allow it to control your future. You can decide to be fearful and hatred living all up and through you, or you can choose love, unconditional love and happiness. And that's what I choose. So if that's with the leprechaun, if that's with the dinosaur, if that's with, you know what I'm saying, uh one from El Salvador, then that's just what it is. Like, I'm
we
gonna be happy.
we just aiming for best in class, because
Yes.
when it comes to when it comes to the black male perspective, I mean, honestly, especially in my peer group, we look at life like, as far as women, we're approaching it like it's a buffet. All
Uh,
everything for us. So that I mean, we haven't gotten that deep as far as thinking about, does the rack look good?
mm,
Does the back look good? And you know, some financial, but not necessarily. And I mean, in the 80s, in popular time, well, no, not popular times, in modern times, in
mm.
the thought process of the locker room thought process was, it's gonna be tough to say, fellas, but I'm gonna have to spill some beans right now.
Come with it. Come with it.
I'm gonna get me a white girl who's gonna take care of me
I mean, I can see that being true.
on the
Cause
dating side. And then from dating any other race, I don't know, man. We look so good that just, you know, Latinos and Asian women just want to rub our feet and make our baby. And we don't have all that. You pay this bill. You don't.
gentle reminders. Don't be mad about gentle reminders,
Yes,
because if you were
got
up
it.
on your A game, I am calling it a gentle reminder. Because if you were up on your A game, I wouldn't even have to remind you. That's what I'm saying. Like, women, we know that women historically have matured faster than men. Like, that's not even a question. And that's the reason why you see the advancement of them compared to their counterparts. But by the same token, you have to decide as a man, I want better and I deserve better for me. So it ain't even about attracting this particular type of woman or being enough in her eyesight. It is about being enough for me, for myself. So
Mhm.
that's the number one thing, is loving yourself enough to push yourself to be the best.
But Destiny Child said, "Cater to you. I want to cater," and that's what. I,
And we will cater to and submit to the man who has won our heart. He has
yeah.
proven to be
Yeah.
exactly what we need in our lives to grow and be our best version of ourselves. So we will do that. Listen, let me tell you how real it was in one relationship with my oldest daughter's dad. We were together for 8.5 years on and off. I would, when he was getting off of work, I would have the house clean, smelling good. Dinner is already prepped. Plate is ready. Your clothes are already out for your bath. Like I would iron his boxers and socks and have them ready for him. Like that's the type of woman I am. Very attentive to details because you need to feel as comfortable as you make me feel. You know what I'm saying? You deserve that level of comfort. And I think sometimes we get it twisted like, oh, the man only has to cater to the woman. And in actuality, we're catering to each other. It's about reciprocity here. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So that's what we have to do is get back to just being aware and conscious of the needs of our partner. If you're going to decide to even go down that route, be prepared to do that, to fulfill that role. That's all.
So it's so many men out there that carry themselves like Will Smith, and we ready. We body. We ready to go slap somebody up over looking at our old ladies, speaking to our old lady out of their neck. And I don't know, man. I guess I gotta say for the fellas it's different as a black man. I carry myself a certain type of way. I got many friends, I got family members that are in interracial relationships and marriages, and it's like the United Nations when we have together at the end of the day. I got little Latino, cousins, I got some white cousins, and I got
Wow.
but
It's
but
a
but
true melting pot. It's a true melting pot, and ain't nothing wrong with that. That's
it's
what we need to see more of because that's what's going to end
yeah,
that
yeah,
separation.
yeah, it's all good in that regard. I'm so sad we have to put such an emphasis on it in regards to the black woman and this is about you, and this is about the black women coming off Women's Month, but it's more so about black women finding their happiness outside of the race. I don't know if it necessarily has to be done, but I mean, at this point, I say fair is fair. At the end of the day, no matter what, I'm not gonna look at somebody crazy when they bring a Caucasian man to across the table. Like I said, and our family makeup, my extended family makeup, I see it all. I got a matter of fact, I got a cousin from the country of India, so I got an Indian cousin. And at the end of the day, it's like I get it. I get it. In regards to what is not being done, what's being done when it comes to us finishing education, us having stable or bringing stability, financial stability to the table to be able to be supportive and bring up a household. But the trauma is definitely true. I agree with you wholeheartedly from a psychological standpoint of black men wanting to be catered to in such a fashion because if they came up in a single parent household,
Mhm.
did this, mama did that. So I'm looking for that woman to be like my mama for the most part. First
Mhm.
and I'm not saying me personally, but I'm just saying I understand the ideology for a lot of men out there who actually have girlfriends who have wives where they really are in a unique way. They're really their mom first, more so than their lover and their companion, because they K Michelle said it can't raise a man. Uh,
It
a
can't.
lot,
It won't.
nah, but it's a lot of women out there. It's a lot of women out there in particular are raising the man in within the relationship. It's not that, and some people get it twisted. They're like, oh, she has him wrapped around her fingers. No,
Mm-mm.
he's used to conforming to what a woman tells him to do because there was no man raising him actively in his life, so he doesn't have those experiences that he can dig deep and think back and utilize to say, hey, my dad did this, or my father showed me how to do that. When it comes to the simplest things, first and foremost, know how to speak to a woman
Yes.
and the proper etiquette so that it's not demeaning. You know, we're not taking our concept from the music that we listen to, the entertainment that we see on television. Well, hey, B, come on,
Mhm.
you know, and
It's it's sad, honestly. It's a catch-22 because women prefer a man that is dominant and very masculine, but we also can appreciate and like the softer side where they're more in tune and in touch with their feminine side. Like,
too infeminine or infeminine or feminine.
what did you say?
I say too infeminine or feminine because I like fingernails on my. I like to paint my fingernails and stuff now. That's what they're doing these days. So I'm just trying to be like,
Uh, I listen. Okay, my ego self would say, "What the you know what I'm saying? Like,
but that's
you
a
a
little.
little you a
Listen,
little hey, you know."
but
But
I'm,
then
but I'm
again,
not. But I'm listen. But I'm not. I'm strong. You know. I like when you go get your nails done. I want to get my nails done too, though, babe.
get you a clear coat. Stop playing with me right now, okay? But honestly, the reason why that would be viewed as gay is because like we're not used to
Sorry,
seeing.
LGBTQXYG element of P. We love all.
Oh yeah, I do. My best friend, he's from New York. He does my hair whenever he's here. I love him forever. Like we've been friends for over 15 years. So I have nothing against anyone.
So
That
yeah, I'm saying. So you saying I'm sorry, I cut you off, but
Yeah,
you
you sure did.
you saying
So
I couldn't
basically it's
your couldn't be your masculine man walking around with 2, 3
pink.
fingernails. Nah, not pink. I might put black on there like Kid Cudi
Oh
and
my
uh,
gosh.
I'm but these guys are setting they're influential. They're setting the tone. And okay, I'm a 70s, 80s baby, born in the late 70s, raised in the 80s. So that is not my thing, quote unquote. But you have to think about it going forward. These kids now, these days, where it's almost like anything go, we're living in such a liberal society that the word masculine is kind of becoming extinct in America.
Um, okay,
So
okay. I'm
yeah,
a,
yeah, yeah.
okay, I'm gonna say this. I really noticed that maybe I don't know 6 or 7 years ago. I saw
Mhm.
Chris Brown, and he was one of my favorite male artists. He was on some show doing an interview. He had on a woman's cardigan, women's boots, and I'm just like, you know that you are an influencer. So children, younger, impressionable young adults are going to try to emulate your image. So if they
Right.
see you dressing, it went way far beyond the clothing. It's also like the dancing, the movements. They created these challenges to have people jump on board. To me, it speaks of compliance and no free will. It speaks programming to me, like on levels. And it's
Yeah.
like we just eat it up. We don't even question it. We just follow the trend, whatever the trend is. And I
I like
think that's what caused the
yeah.
demasculation of men,
I wear
just
leopard
following
leggings.
it.
Sorry.
Huh?
I wear leopard print leggings. Yeah.
Seriously, I can't.
Hey,
Let me
but
see you.
Prince
We gonna have a talk.
Prince did it. Prince, but now if we look back in hindsight, like so all of these things, and I had to analyze this. So we were
Mhm.
so critical. We're so critical of Young Thug, Lil Wayne when they started wearing this type of get up. But this is as far as the entertainment business of singers. This has been the norm. You have the Isley brothers wearing what do we call them? What we call them? Skinny jeans. We call them skinny jeans, but
Yeah.
their pants were seam. They're very skinny. Then what y'all call them? Flaring at the bottom. They were flared.
Yeah.
They flared at the bottom.
Those were called bell bottoms. That's different.
But they was the same
And the
pants.
time was different.
But
Okay.
but
I'm
listen,
all
Prince,
about self-expression. I
right?
am. I'm totally for self-expression. But I
Yeah.
think there was some secret agenda going on. Like this was being pushed intentionally. And that's just me keeping it 100% real. Like You don't want our men strong. You don't want them to know who they are, their power and authority. You want them subservient and feel subjective, like that they have to be this way to be men, to be valid, to be relevant. Like, you doing this, and then if you using influential people with power, hey, I got you where I want you, because now I have generation after generation after generation of men who are no longer carrying themselves as men. So I honestly, that's just my take on it. I think they put that out there. They trying to attack our people. Okay.
Well, my chapstick, I want my chapstick to have a little color in it now. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-mm,
I like
mm-mm,
Vic always
no,
put chapstick in every
no.
game. I need mine to have a little color to it, so you know that my lips
Look
ain't.
how heavy it's being pushed. Look how heavy it's being pushed. You can't turn anywhere without seeing something about transgenders, about LGBTQ, and BLT sandwiches. No, stop. But you can't turn anywhere without seeing it's on the TV now. That stuff used to be censored. It was like unheard of. Even using profanity, all of that stuff was out of the gate. Now, baby, they promoted, they advertise it, baby. Listen, like, that is the norm. And it's kind of scary to me, because it's like, imagine what it will be 10 or 20 years down the line.
That's what
So
I'm
I
saying.
think it's important that we get back to the basics, to the foundational root of who we are as a people. We have always been civilized. They were not. And it's like they're trying to because nothing is new under the sun, nothing is new in history. So it's like now they're trying to go back to that, where we're looked upon as being rowdy, ratchet, ghetto, hood radish. And that was never who we were. We were elegant, classy people. We taught them how to bathe themselves. If we really want to go down to the nitty gritty, like, we introduced bathing with cloths and things like that. That was us. Brushing their teeth properly, like, that was us. Okay. And we know the countless inventions that we came up with, that they slapped their name and face on, and it became their product, their invention. So all I'm saying is, don't allow this popular trend to change who we are at the heart, at the core of us as royal, majestic people. Just don't let it happen. That's all I'm saying.
All right. So, in closing, dating for you has been challenging.
Yes.
You're not willing to jump the racial line, apparently. Respectfully. I'm saying this respectfully. You have daughters.
Mhm.
All of the things that we're talking about that are values for you. How do you think you're going to handle things in the future in the event that all of these no-nos in your value and your core value become acceptable for your daughters? That's right. Get that.
You know what? Honestly, before, I would have said, I'm going to teach this to them. I'm going to instill it into them. If I have to drill it into them, they're going to know this is an absolute no. We don't do this. We don't, But now, because, like I said, things have changed drastically, and it's like, you
Sorry.
have to be receptive to things now. And it's like, if that is their way, then who am I to go against the grain? Because at the end of they're their own individual being. And if this is what they feel their heart desire is, then I'm not going to be opposed to my child living their life the way they want to. That was the thing that happened before. My parents and other people were telling me how to live my life, and that made me rebel even more. So I think that it's important to let people freely be who they are and love who they want to love, however that looks.
And that was one of the in the article itself, where it spoke to certain ideology of African American women, more specifically. We in America, so I mean that's the viewpoint that we come from. But
Mhm.
shout out to all of the people in Europe. That I got a lot of people in Germany, England, for me. So from the diaspora, I'm sure they understand what we're speaking of. But more specifically in the African American community, the Black, like and I'm just repeating what was in the article. You know, felt you were a disgrace outside your race. And and now it just seems like more and more, I guess, like you said, we just have to accept the personal choices of people and their happiness and what makes them happy, as long as they're not being disrespected or be, you know, along the lines physically or mentally in an abusive relationship. So changing times.
Yes, we are in those changing times.
Changing times for America. It's different. And I don't know what, in closing remarks, what anything else that you want to add? You know,
Welcome to New Earth.
Hmm?
Welcome to New Earth. This is literally the breakdown and the destruction of the old ways, the old society, and it is the emergence of something new, something brilliant, something unique. And so, yeah, just welcome to the New Earth.
And I'll piggyback on that, but I'll kind of put a spin on it. I think we're actually returning to the old world from the new world, because in the monarchy, you know, a lot of people watch Bridgerton and all these other shows that are somewhat telling stories of the way things used to be in the Victorian times and certain centuries, 16, 17, 18, whatever timeline they're covering. But men wore makeup, men wore wigs, wore hosieries, men wore leggings, and I just think that what we're doing is we're kind of returning to that from a modern standpoint, which in our programming in America, from a period of, I want to say, like 1920s to maybe the 60s. So like I think we had a 40-year dominance of imagery of men and the way that they wanted the man to look. Definitely the woman, because I mean, women were wearing dresses to their ankles, but men were wearing suits all the time. They were very formal. Then it got casual or semi-formal with just maybe a dress shirt and some slacks. Then the inception of jeans, and from there it went any which way fashion was being pulled at that different time. So I just kind of think that we're returning there. And just to answer the question, should Black women consider dating white men more now? I mean, for me, I just say whatever's in your heart, whatever you find. To the brothers, I wish y'all would just step y'all game up and you know, work your way up and make yourself a little more presentable to women. Not to say that having a college degree makes you a more attractive person, a smarter person, or anything of that nature, but just being able to turn the leaf in your legacy to where, you know, you're trying to push them to another level. That's my only opinion about it. What about yours as we close?
So yeah, I mean, you can certainly consider it. It doesn't mean that that's going to be your final definite, like your definitive choice. Feel free to love who you love, be whoever you are unapologetically, because it is your life at the end of the day. So yeah, be free to just be who you are.
Cool.
Love who you want to love.
Give me the pronunciation again. Anna
Shanae.
Anna Shanae. Thank you for joining me on the Talking Chit podcast. Plug yourself again. And also for everyone who is going to listen and watch, please like, share, follow both of us. Please plug yourself as we close out.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. So if you want to view any of my content, feel free to go to my YouTube channel, To Be Honest 2.0. Also, I do have a podcast that I just started on acast.com. It's The Healing Garden, and you just put dashes between The Healing Garden. And I appreciate you for having me.
Likewise, invite me on your show at some point. My be calling, so I got to get on out of here. Peace.
Okay.